Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Steven Rendon with the Schiller Institute. Steven, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
We're going to talk about things economic.
Certainly.
First off, tell our folks what the Schiller Institute is.
Okay. Well, the Schiller Institute is an international cultural institution that anyone can help support, and their main goals right now are we're talking about economics, is that we've sort of identified President Xi Jinping and certain regional groupings around the BRICS, what are known as the BRICS, and FOCAC, which is the Chinese and African Cooperation Organization. But so they're looking for a new way to capitalize infrastructure in poor countries that are based on low interest rates and long-term maturities. The exact opposite of what Wall Street and
what you're seeing today,
in London.
To promote growth in some of these third world countries and create a bigger, more powerful economic base, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because we want to create a market for our high capital goods that we can retool. We've lost a lot.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a 50-year period, over a 50-year period of post-industrialization, a certain negligence of our NASA and other high-tech industries.
Right.
So we've almost forgotten about fusion, although there are some very brilliant people working on these things in some very interesting places.
So that brings us to Steven Rendon. What are you doing at this?
I'm promoting the Schiller Institute.
Yeah.
I think that also I have on the screen a website for the LaRouchePack.com.
Okay.
There are videos that help give briefings about the Renaissance that I'm talking about, the cultural.
That's what I want to get to. We're talking about a cultural economic Renaissance.
Yeah.
So, and a Renaissance is a rebirth, a renewal.
Exactly.
Right? And you're looking, you meaning the Schiller Institute, are looking to help facilitate this renewal. But it's not locally, it's globally, right?
It's international. Based on the ideas of Lyndon LaRouche, who is an American economist, living legend. But Helga, his wife, is giving weekly briefings about the situation, economics, but also, they did this beautiful thing in New York City called the New York City Schiller Institute, Chorus. So they did this wonderful commemoration, memorialization of 9/11 victims in the church of, I think it was St. Padua, within earshot or whatever, of Ground Zero itself. Yeah. And that was a bipartisan. This is this moves at the same time. This cultural rebirth is going to move at the same time. We're going to have to realize something human about ourselves in the first world. And overcome some sort of some pride. And understand that patriotism is not exclusive with world citizenship. And I think President Trump made a little thing about this at the UN General Assembly. He was talking about sovereignty for each nation, which is ironic because the United States is not exactly invited into Syria, where they have this base in El Tanf and the region.
Steven, how long have you been with the Schiller Institute?
Well, I have been studying the Schiller Institute for about 15 years, ever since out of high school.
Right.
They grabbed me young, and I was. It was during the time when we were fighting against the recall in 2003, because of the economic advisors that were surrounding Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Soros, and George Schultz. There were these privatization kind of gurus, and that's the whole plan that has been consistent from before I started the Schiller Institute. And Mr. LaRouche started the organization in the 70s.
So what do you see? How do you see us moving forward with this?
I see us taking a look at taking a real strong look at the videos at the website that's posted, and to take special attention to what Helga has to say every week. One of my mentors.
And we can find that on the Institute website also. Okay.
And you can look me up, but just by name, and you'll find me. But those are the important ones.
Those are the important ones.
Yeah.
Huh? Anything else you want to get out to the public while we got you here? You got anything coming up? Any events or something you want to share?
The weekly webcast I want to emphasize.
Okay.
Given usually on Thursdays, there's one that was recorded that you can catch again probably on.
Is there an archive of those weekly webcasts?
On the LaRouchePAC.com Political Action Committee.
All right.
And
so in this world of chaotic politics, there may be some sanity out there somewhere to be found. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's the cultural renaissance, rebirth, and I'm talking very specifically about the value that we must rebirth in ourselves of the human individual.
Okay.
Not just as a nice thought,
Okay.
but as a scientifically proven idea that has been discussed throughout the millennia.
Okay.
From Plato and Aristotle, discussing what is a human being.
The idea of beingness.
What is an idea of an idea? Okay. Aristotle said just the things that we sense and touch and seek for pleasure and avoid for pain kind of idea. Ideas are mere words that represent sensualness versus the Platonic idea. This is pretty much what you will get in an encyclopedia. So there's more to this, but the Platonic idea is that mankind has the individual has in him or her the ability to discuss universal principles of how the creator, however cultural way you want to put it, the principles universal that are laid before us is laid before us a beautiful mission for discovery, which is the human race.
Okay.
And it should be the subject of the United Nations, of getting back together, getting rid of these regime change wars and all these things, and you'll see the type of cooperation that I'm talking about. You'll already see it in the space cooperation with it, because there are no races there are no nations in space. There's human beings and the elements, and we're taking on the elements.
Well,
we could use the help.
Stephen, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you so much.
Come back and we'll talk some more about this.
I can't wait.
Okay, and I'll see you when we come back.